All right, and we're back. Weekly podcast talking about sports, and more sports. We got a busy Tuesday ahead of us today as free agency has officially kicked off in the NFL. Conference championship games have started as well. And then we got the players coming up. It's a very, very fun day. So let's begin with, I would say the biggest news of the week would be definitely free agency as of right now. Even though right before we started this, Virginia Tech and California were in OT, and I had to turn that off to start this. So I wonder.
Yeah, if you're attached to that game, you gotta ask yourself some questions. You might have some bad habits you need to clean up, but we'll talk about that stuff later.
Yeah, because how these games have ended so far has been absolutely insane. Pitt game in Notre Dame ended on a foul call with 0.5 seconds left. That wasn't even a penalty.
Dude, I didn't have a dog in the fight. No betting. It's not in our group, and that call made me mad. You can't decide that. These are they're not big dog programs. They're not going to win it all, but they're still Division I Power 5 basketball programs that work hard all day, all year in, year out, and your season decided like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's bullshit. I mean, imagine if Michael O'Connell was 3 from NC State last year. Imagine if, he got bonked on the shot and didn't go in. They don't call it. I mean, this stuff. I'm not saying Pitt was going to go on some magical run, but that's really bad. It's a really bad look for the ACC.
Yeah, especially because if you lose, some of these teams are fighting to get into the tournament. They're fighting for their lives to get in. And make a great point. NC State last year, they weren't even predicted to make the tournament. They win their ACC tournament last year, and they're in, and they go on a Final Four run. Pitt, I don't think they're gonna make the tournament, and they needed a run here. They needed something good here, and they got absolutely screwed. Obviously, Notre Dame fans are happy, but it's just a tough way to go out.
Yeah, can't decide a basketball game like that. Gotta let them play.
Yeah, gotta let them play. And then our team, Florida State, is playing actually right now as well, or right after that game. If that game's still going on. Playing Syracuse. Everyone's saying we should win? I'm seeing semis. We beat Clemson in the corners, but we lose to Louisville in the semis. I'm seeing a lot of it. I'm seeing we can make a run.
Yeah, I gotta look at the bracket. I mean, according to Joey Brackets, he only has 3 ACC teams projected to make the NCAA tournament. That's the lowest ever race. It's pathetic. I mean,
it's really bad.
Honestly sad. The ACC is in a dark place right now. But yeah, our Knowles, I think they could make the semis. I think they might even squeak into the championship game. Maybe even win it all. I mean, it's seriously up for grabs. So
I know we're also one of those teams that need to win it to get in. So
yeah, I mean, not even on the bubble again. But I mean that the ACC, obviously NC State last year. 2 years before that, Virginia Tech was not a bubble team. They won one. They got hot at the right time. The year before that, Georgia Tech beat us in the championship game. They stole a bit. So I don't know, something funky's going on with the ACC. But you step into the. I think where is it? Is it in Greensboro this year?
It's in North Carolina. So yeah, right?
The Greensboro. Yeah, something about that place. You just the calendar turns to mid-March. Your season, you're up against the wall. Something clicks for these teams, and they play with a sense of urgency, and it shows up.
Yeah, it's been only a few days here, but it's already been a lot of fun. Speaking of few days here, let's talk about my team that I have money on tonight, Delaware. 4 wins in a row, was a 12th seed in their conference championship, and they are going to win tonight. That game is also going on right now, and I have a dog in that fight. I have by myself, myself versus everyone else. And I'm all in.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to pull with you, brother. But, I mean, UNCW is 26-7, and Delaware is 16-19.
It doesn't matter. Hot at the right time.
Yeah, they won 4 in a row, but that's not even, like I was saying earlier, NC State won 4 in a row. Actually, so Delaware lost the last 4, and now they won 4 in a row. NC State last year lost the last 4 of the regular season, won 4 in a row.
See?
They're a double-digit seed in their conference. I mean, there's similarities, but, I mean, I don't know, man. I just couldn't I couldn't justify that upset. It's a major upset. I mean, we'll see what happens though. We'll see what
The
happens.
proof is in the pudding. It's all there. It's the magical run of March. There's always one team, and it's gonna be Delaware this year. I'm all in. I'm all in on Delaware.
We'll see.
But in other news, free agency officially kicked off yesterday, where people are allowed to start talking with the players and stuff like that. And there was some massive money thrown around, especially by your team, the New England Patriots. Milton Williams going from my team to your team. Big get.
Big get. Yeah, we need to build through the defense. We just hired Mike Vrabel, former Patriots linebacker, former defensive coordinator with the Texans, I believe, and head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Very defensive-minded person. Yeah, I mean, Drake May, he'll continue to grow. I mean, we still need to get weapons, though, and that's going to take time to get weapons. It's going to take time to develop those weapons. But Mike Vrabel needs to develop a culture and develop some strong suit. And he's done a tremendous job signing Milton Williams, which I love. Who else we got? We got Carlton Davis.
No wide receivers.
Wide receivers.
You re-signed Austin Hooper, I know that. Carlton Davis.
Yeah.
You guys got Harold Landry.
Harold Landry, that was
the linebacker.
For Vrabel in Tennessee, who I liked.
You got Spillman, the other middle linebacker, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, Spillane, he's a good one. He's a good IDP if any of you guys do
from
IDP
Vegas.
Trainers. Yeah, I really like those moves. I think they're all solid. I think they're all.
And then Morgan Moses for the offensive line.
Yep. We made some good, nothing super sexy, but some really, really good, solid signings.
I mean, signing Milton Williams for $26 million a year is kind of nuts, but teach
that is a little sexy. Yeah, that's pretty good.
But that was crazy. Josh Sweat went to the Cardinals. He's gonna go back with Jonathan Gannon. That kind of makes sense there. There was really no, I would say, like surprising news. It kind of felt like everyone went where people thought they were gonna go.
Yeah, I mean the Seahawks are kind of making me scratch my head. I mean trading Geno shocked me. That shocked me. Trading DK, I mean, you wanted to trade, didn't shock me that much, but I don't know. I think they were like one game away from making the playoffs, so they kind of had something. And it's kind of unfair to who's now going into his second year as head coach, Mike McDonald. A little unfair to him. I mean, he had something going. He was building his own momentum, and now they're kind of doing a rebuild. But we'll see. I mean, they signed Sam Darnold, so that could go any which way. I mean, he had a great year in Minnesota. The last two games, the games that mattered the most, he did not show up. We saw the old Sam Darnold, but they got him at a decent deal, kind of pricey, but yeah, we'll see what's up with Seattle.
Yeah, that's I would say the same thing. The biggest move definitely was the Laramie Tunsil trade to Washington. With CJ Stroud already being like one of the most pressured quarterbacks in the NFL, and him being arguably a I'll say top 5. I was gonna say top 3, but I don't know if I can say that. Left tackle in the league, and then trading him, and then turning right around and then trading your other guard, Kenyon Green, to the Eagles today for CJ. I just don't see what Texans are doing offensive line wise. But that's probably the most surprising there. You have a quarterback that's under so much distress, and he has to come in and learn a whole new offense because you fired Bobby Slowick, and now he has no offensive line per se. I mean, they did sign Lincoln Tomlinson later in the day, but still though, I mean, I don't know what they're doing now. What's Houston's plan at offensive line as far as that goes?
Yeah, that's a real head scratcher. I mean, they got CJ Stroud going into his third year now. He's won a playoff game each of his first 2 seasons. Like you said, he struggled. Like, he didn't struggle, but I mean, he could have used some more help with the line. And yeah, you trade away 2 key pieces. One of them being Laramie Tunsil, an All-Pro, a perennial All-Pro. Doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I assume they got some guys they like in this draft, but I don't know. They better be right. They better be right, because if not, it's going to look real bad for DeMeco Ryans and company.
Yeah, because I mean, the main thing was that it was like a second and like a fourth, but the second and fourth are next year picks, like 2026. They're not even like this upcoming draft's picks. So
Yeah,
I just
you got CJ Stroud on a rookie deal. You gotta cash in on it.
but I mean it's like so you have to wait a whole year in order to even use those draft picks, which at that point, where does that come in? Because then at that point, CJ Stroud's gonna be in his fourth year. You're gonna have to pay him eventually, right? So, like, it just doesn't. It's not making a whole lot of sense of the whole trading them now. I can see it next year when you have to pay CJ, but doing it now, I guess I don't get it. I don't get blowing up a whole offensive line.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, no, I'm very upset about the losing CJ GJ. I know he was the heartbeat of our defense, but we have Sidney Brown coming up that I think they have a lot of praise in. So that will be good for that. But other than that, I mean, I'm trying to think. Daniel Jones went to Indianapolis. Justin Fields to the Jets. I like that move.
I do too.
It's going to be very interesting who the Steelers have at quarterback now. It's going to be it has to be Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. They're too far back, I think, to get any quarterback worth
they're in Jackson Dart territory. He's probably going to rise, so they're probably going to have to trade up, which they could. I mean, they're not going to have to trade up a crazy amount to get him, but yeah, we'll see. Pittsburgh's in a weird spot right now. It's going to be interesting to see what they do from here.
Yeah. I think the biggest losers of everything is going to obviously it's got to be the Bengals, because now DK got paid. He's getting paid like $33 million a year, so T. Higgins has to get at least that. Myles Garrett just got paid for the $40 million, so you're out. You're out there in real life, and the Bengals are saying they're going to make Jamar Chase the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. Well, that just went all the way up to $40 million a year. You're going to trade, the person who just led the sacks all year, Trey Hendrickson. You're probably going to get a second. You're hoping, because you can't afford him. So you have to trade him for the best you can get, and you're hoping it's a second.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Joe Burrow, I'm really frustrated now. I feel like the organization has kind of let him down. It's just kind of let him down overall. The T. Higgins thing is weird. I mean, I don't know why they're not paying him. I mean, I don't know that. They're obviously going to have to pay Jamar Chase. And you still have to play two sides of the ball, which involves Trey Hendrickson. And I don't know. They're kind of a mess. They're kind of wasting. I mean, Joe Burrow is no longer on his rookie contract.
No, he's getting paid.
He's still young. He just had his best season ever, and he didn't even make the playoffs because the rest of the roster was just not functional, not great, not up to par. So I don't know. I'd be frustrated if I was a Bengals fan right now.
Yeah, I agree. Because if the Bengals were even remotely if they were a playoff team, I think Joe Burrow wins MVP 100%.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow.
The way he played last year.
He was the second best quarterback in fantasy last year. He played insane. Jamar Chase won the Triple Crown as a wide receiver, and they still didn't make the playoffs. You gotta have some serious sit downs and talks and figure this thing out. And it does not seem like that organization is going in the right direction.
Won the Triple Crown and didn't even get one single vote for Offensive Player of the Year, and that's insane.
I know, it's nuts. I mean, if they had a better record, he probably would. It's just they weren't relevant.
Gosh, man, I just can't wait for football to be back. Anything. Just the draft next month is going to be absolutely. I don't know. People are saying there's going to be a lot of trade ups in the first round, but then I'm also hearing that people are saying the value you can get towards the end of the middle to end of the first round, you can also get in the second round. So I honestly don't see where a lot of people are saying there's going to be a lot of trade ups. I think there's going to be a lot of more of staying still and just kind of picking what comes to you because of the value in the draft.
Yeah, I mean the draft. This isn't a crystal clear draft. At the top, you got the top four. The A tier, you got Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Abdul Carter, and who's the fourth one?
Travis Hunter probably.
Travis Hunter. Those are the top four. And after that, like, really anything can happen. So, I mean, it's a deep class. It's a good class. Usually when you trade up for a quarterback. I don't see a ton falling in that trade up range. There's the NFL, the draft, there's so much smoke screens, there's so much rumors. There's only one way to find out, and that's what happens on draft day. So, yeah, we'll see.
I know. I'm excited for that as well. But let's jump back into the conference championship since that's going on as well. You think Duke just outright wins the ACC, don't you?
I actually don't. They're the best team in the ACC. I think they will go very far in the NCAA tournament. But I like the Louisville Cardinals. They're quietly a top 15 team. They haven't been talked about a lot. They got Chucky Hepburn, a transfer from Wisconsin. He's dropping like 30 a game. They're playing really well. I think they're a little too quiet. I think they make some buzz somehow, some way, whether it be the ACC or NCAA tournament. But I'm gonna pick them to win the ACC tournament. I think we'll be talking about them more than we are now come Selection Sunday.
Yeah, that right now, I think the bracketology has them as a 6th seed right now going in. So, but
yeah, that's a little disrespectful. That's a little low. I think they'll creep up to that 5, maybe 4 line. We'll see.
Yeah, I would love to just throw our name in there in Florida State just to win it. I really would. The Leonard Hamilton's done. Let's just go on a little streak for him. Little win streak here.
I want to, man. We don't have the juice, man. We don't have the horses.
I just think if we can, we'll beat Syracuse, which like I said, that game's going on right now. We'll go then play SMU, spank them, go to Clemson, beat them, go to Louisville, beat them, beat Duke in the final. It's easy. That's the bracket.
Yeah, it's there's a path. There's a path. I don't know if it's easy, but it's possible. I'm gonna root for them. I am. I'm just gonna sit there and I'm gonna pick them. I just think it's got that Cinderella story of he's just even if we lose in the first round of the tournament, at least make the tournament in his final year. You have to. He just got his 200th career win in his final home game, which was huge. But you gotta go with them. I gotta go with them. I'm gonna go Florida State. Put it in Penn. Put it in Penn. Wow. I'd love to see it. So we'll see.
I know. All right. What about the SEC stacked?
Man, this is such a tough one to pick.
This could be for a 1 seed in the bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to imagine whoever wins this SEC tournament isn't going to be a 1 seed. If I had to pick, I'd go Florida.
Really?
I'd go Florida, yeah. I kind of like Duke. I still think Auburn's going to go very, very deep. I don't know. I kind of know what's happening these last 2 games with Auburn. The first loss to A&M on the road. Boone gets hurt early, comes back in, but still kind of off. Denver Jones, a starter. I forget if he got injured. I think he got injured, missed the whole game. So kind of a scheduled loss. They're on a big hot streak. And then Saturday, lose in overtime at the buzzer to their arch rival Alabama, a top 10 team on a Mark Sears floater. Not much you can do about that. So I don't think there's any need to panic if you're Auburn. I don't think they're gonna. I think they'll go respectably far in the SEC tournament. They don't really need to prove much else. They pretty much locked up the #1 overall seed for the NCAA tournament. And the SEC is just ridiculous. It's the best conference in college basketball history. So I don't think they'll win that SEC. I think UF will.
That's we talked about that game of Auburn and Alabama, and we were all watching that. And I'm actually gonna go Alabama. I think winning that Auburn game is gonna give them kind of the boost that they need, like that extra little bit of boost they needed going into this. And I think they're actually just gonna kind of cruise right through it. It's crazy because I'm not like a big Alabama fan, but I think the winner of that game was going in with more confidence than the the loser was going in. And I think that right now, this is where you need to have the most confidence. You need to actually believe, and to do anything in this tournament, that's what you need. And I believe that Alabama getting that win at the buzzer beater, it was on the road, was huge for them and their team, and I think that's going to coast them through the SEC 100%.
Yeah, they need that win. I think they lost the previous two games, so that would have been their third loss in a row. It would have been to the ranked teams, the big boys, so they would have had a lot of questions to answer, but they don't have to answer those questions. They're really good. I think Mark Sears is going to show up no matter what. I think the X factor for Alabama is Grant Nelson. He's 6'11". He was on that Final Four team from last year. He's really talented. I think he'll be in the NBA. But he can drop 24. He can drop 4. It depends what version of him shows up. So Nate Oates needs to realize that's his second best player. You need to get the ball in the hands of your best players. You can't just have it in Mark Sears' hands the whole time. So if they get Grant Nelson going, yeah, I'd like them to win the SEC and beyond.
All right, who do you have for the Big Ten?
Gotta go Michigan State.
Yeah, that's finally you jumped on. It's about time. I was waiting for it.
And after that good old-fashioned American ass whooping on Sunday, I mean, I gotta go green. Gotta go green.
Have to. I'm telling
they're
you.
Just playing unreal.
I told you from the beginning, Michigan State was winning the whole thing, and there's not a doubt in my mind they're unstoppable right now. I turned that game off before halftime, and turned on. What game were we watching? Sunday afternoon.
Was it Drake and Bradley or something?
I don't think it was that. I think it was some other just some crazy unknown team.
Yeah, Lipscomb in North Alabama.
Yes, Lipscomb in North Alabama. I turned off that game for that game, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Michigan State's just going to roll through it. Michigan, though, like I said, going into this tournament, you need a lot of confidence. You need to go in and you need to be hot. You need to be somewhat hot going into this conference, and Michigan is not. They've lost, I think, 3 or 4 in a row now. And they're not looking good at all.
Yeah, they've lost 3 in a row. Lost 4 of the last 6. It's not looking great. You actually don't need to be hot to go far in the tournament. I mean, obviously it helps. I mean, you're gonna have better odds and stuff. But we've seen teams that struggle. They're some teams that played their worst basketball right before the tournament, and then they turn around, they get focused, they get the misses out, they get the losses out, and they're good to go. Yeah, Michigan. I don't know if they're gonna make the Final Four anymore. That seems like a bit of a stretch. We'll see how the Big Ten goes. I still think they're a good team. I still think they're a second weekend team, but they're just not on the same level as Michigan State, and that was evident Sunday.
Well, I'm telling you, if Michigan doesn't do well in this tournament, right, and they dropped like a little bit like a 6th or 5th seed, kind of in there a little bit, and they go up against Drake as like a 12, 11 seed, something like that, I'm picking Drake. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, if Michigan bows out first round of the Big Ten, even second, yeah, I wouldn't blame you at all. I might even pick that. I'm not writing it in pen that Michigan's going to the Final Four or anything. They're just a good team. I said my reasons the last episode. I still think they're a good team, but there's also a lot of other good teams in March, so We'll see.
I know we didn't even talk about is Illinois in that conference? So, I mean, there's definitely some good teams in that conference.
Yeah, Wisconsin. They got. I think that was the other big boy. Yeah. We'll see.
So, and then we got the Big 12. Big 12.
Yep. I'm gonna go Houston. I mean,
Houston?
They're just kind of like the ACC. It's kind of a weak year for the Big 12. Kansas isn't themselves. Iowa State started off really strong. They kind of slipped. I'm not a huge believer in them. And Kelvin Sampson has just owned the Big 12 ever since they joined 2 years ago. I think they had 1 conference loss this year. They're clearly the best team in the Big 12. They're just such a good basketball team. I think they have no problem rolling through the Big 12 tourney and kind of down those Big 12 nets for the second year in a row.
See, who would I be if I were not to pick my Final Four team in Texas Tech? You gotta ride the Red Raiders. You gotta ride them in this.
Yeah, they're not bad. I mean, I think we're gonna do a little overrated upset alert segment next.
Overrated upset alert. They're winning the whole. They're going to the Final Four. I'm telling you. They're right there.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I see them on that 2 line. I don't feel comfortable with them on the 2 line.
They're going to be quiet. They're going to sneak their way in. You're not even going to notice their games. They're going to be quiet games. They're like, oh, Texas Tech wins by like 10. It's quiet. They're just quietly just creep up the board. It's going to be beautiful. Just watch them creep.
If they win the Big 12, it's not going to be quiet. They're going to be in the mix for a 1 seed. That means they would have beaten Houston or Iowa State or both of them. I don't know. I like Grant McCaskey. I think that's his name, the coach. He's a great coach. JT Toppin's great. They've built a good basketball program at Texas Tech despite a lot of turnover actually recently. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad pick though. That's probably the second best team in the Big 12. I think Houston's on a different level, but we'll see.
Yeah, JB Toppin, player of the tournament. Just so you're aware.
What's that?
JT Toppin, player of the tournament.
Okay.
Player of the tournament.
Good pick.
Let's see. The what's it called?
Big East.
What? The Big East.
East?
UConn Conference.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, you said them.
You're gonna pick UConn?
I'm going UConn. Yeah. I mean, this is obviously a little bit of a down year for UConn, but their story's not written yet this year. I don't think they'll three-peat. That would be a little far-fetched, but Danny Hurley's he's not feeling like a beta. He's not feeling submissive to anyone. He's still, hey, I'm Mr. Big East. I'm still a top dog, even though Rick Pitino and St. John's are coming. It's still his conference. And that team is very talented. It's frustrating to watch their games and see some of these scores. I mean, they lost to like a 7-21 seed in Hall team. Like, it's just like, I don't know what's going on there, but it's just different in March. They turn into 1-game seasons, and he obviously knows how to coach in March. He's won 12 straight NCAA tournament games by double digits. I mean, that's a record. That's unheard of.
It's insane.
Just to win 12 games, let alone by double digits. I think St. John's is great. I think it'll probably be I don't know how the bracket works. It'll either be St. John's versus UConn in the final or the semis. I think this has a little bit more upside firepower than St. John's and a little bit more experience. They get that juice this time of year, so yeah, I'm going UConn.
Alrighty. Yeah, I can't sit here and contradict my top 4. I mean, it's falling into place for me perfectly, I feel like. St. John's. Go get it. You know? Rick Pitino is also a Hall of Fame head coach. You know? That guy I think Rick Pitino, you can put Rick Pitino on any team, and he will have that team turned around in 2 years. Any team. Like, I've seen, if you look at what he's done, it was like Louisville was like bad the first year, and then the second year he was there, turned it around. Kentucky, like, same thing. Wherever he went to before he was at St. John's, I know it was like a little lower level school. Iona, yeah, same thing. I mean, this is what he does. So, I mean, he takes teams that aren't doing that great, you know, they're going through a little bit of a slump, and then he turns them into these powerhouses. And I think that's exactly where they're at right now, and I just think they're going to be too hot to stop. That doesn't mean that I think they'll beat UConn in the final. But I can't turn against my top 4. I firmly 100 believe in my top 4 the whole way, depending on the bracket, of course, because if Auburn and Michigan State somehow end up on the same side, I'm riding with the Spartans at the end of the day. But in this case, I'm going St. John's to win the whole thing for the Big East.
Okay, real quick, how much time do we have left?
We have 8 minutes and 15 seconds.
All right, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I'm high on St. John's. It's just for some, like, this is a March thing. Like, you think that the teams that win their conference tournaments is going to directly translate into linear success in the NCAA tournament. It's just not. I mean, some teams, we see national champions that don't even win their conference tournament or bow out early. So you just got to mix it up a little bit. But I really like St. John's. That's a good pick. Rick Pitino's done an unbelievable job. I think he should be National Coach of the Year. Like you said, he just turned programs around like clockwork. They're insanely good defensively. They got R.J. Lewis, who can score the rock. They've got Kadari Richmond, who just got a triple-double. I would not want to have to play Rick Pitino in St. John's in the NCAA tournament, so that's a good pick.
The thing is, for me, I'm huge on just being hot. Like, just being hot at the right time. Like, if I see, like, a team, like Delaware is a perfect example. If I see you getting hot and you're not even projected to make the tournament and you win your conference tournament and you get into that tournament, I am picking you every game that you're in. I fully believe that some teams just get absolutely hot for no reason and go on these Cinderella runs. So I'm all in on, and that's why I picked my Final Four teams to win the tournament, because I want to be right at the end of the day. Obviously, like we all do. So
yeah,
I'm hoping they just stay hot, win it, and go to the Final Four, and then I can look back at this next month and go, God, I should work for Barstool. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Send the clip in. Look, I picked the Final Four. Dave Portnoy, you need me on your side. Big cat. I'm just like you. I'm like 16-0 in March.
Yeah. We are sports and more sports. Had a little interaction with Barstool Sports last night. That was funny with Hannah Montoya and Mood Can't Sleep. But everyone likes to pick the hot team. Everyone likes to pick the team with the odds soaring. It's human nature. I get it, but this is ultimately not how it works. I've just watched too many marches, been let down too many times. I just know that's just not how it works. Granted, that doesn't mean I know who the other team on the inverse of that is going to be, but sometimes picking the brackets and all that it's kind of like a landmine. Like, you just got to see which teams are going to fall like harder, faster, farther than the other team. So
yeah, I wrote down today's date, 3/11/25, of the day that you doubted me. So I have it written down. The day that you doubted me, right here, written down.
Because of the Delaware?
No, right underneath Texas Tech is circled for winning the Big 12. So we got about 5 minutes left, and we would not be sports, and more sports if we didn't also talk about a big golf tournament that was coming up this weekend, and the Players. So golf is more your thing. I pay attention. I'm in there. I glance at it. I watch. A little bit here and there. But I'm definitely more of a big tournament guy. Just don't shoot me while I'm down. But normally, I just go. Scotty's gonna be there probably. I'm always picking in the Players thing on Facebook, and the one that you did as well. Victor Hovland's my favorite. Love the guy. And then I usually do like Justin Day, and then I do the Van der Rosen guy as well.
You do Justin Thomas or Jason Day?
I think Jason Day.
Jason Day, and then Eric Von Rooyen.
Yeah, those are my go-to 4 guys that I'll pick in those player pools, and I'll just let it ride.
I don't know why you like Van Rooyen. He's never done anything.
He just didn't he win? He won 2 years ago in a major tournament or something like that. Or who's up there?
He's never won it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We'll look that up. I think he did, because I think that's why I pick him.
Yeah. The Players, the 5th major this week. My beloved golf's back. The club closest to me is opening this Friday, so golf's back. Don't forget about golf, folks. Scotty's going for the 3-peat. We got another potential 3-peat. We had the Chiefs; they didn't do the 3-peat. We got UConn ? And we got Scotty Scheffler 3-peat for the Players. No one's ever 3-peated at the Players, and I think that will be true come Sunday night. He hasn't played a ton of golf. He got a weird injury. He cut his hand while preparing Christmas dinner. He missed a month. It's really hard to win 3 golf tournaments in a row, a year. That's a 3-peat. and golf is really hard for individual tournaments. I bumped into my dad's friend at the gym yesterday. He asked me who I think. I just top of my head went Colin Morikawa. He kind of a heartbreaking finish this Sunday. He lost on a chip and eagle essentially with 2 holes left, but he's played great. He played great in the majors last year. He's won 2 majors, so he can play under the bright lights. So I'm gonna go with him as my pick.
Yeah, I did see your. That's why your bracket name, not your bracket name, but your players poll is his name.
I need more cowbell, yes.
But speaking of that, you got to think. Unfortunately, this is probably going to be the end of Tiger Woods tearing his Achilles. That's a year recovery at a normal age. He's 41 now, 42?
Dude, he's like 40, no, he's like 46, 47.
Jeez.
He ruptured his Achilles about 2 hours ago, or the news came out 2 hours ago. It's heartbreaking. I mean, he had nothing left to prove. He didn't even have anything left to prove before the 2019 comeback Masters win. After that, he had nothing to prove. He probably wasn't going to win another major anyway. I mean, didn't need to. It's just very hard at that age. I mean, Tiger never give up. He'd never think he couldn't win a major.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the end for Tiger. But I mean, what a run, what a career. Nothing left to prove. Just
you can't.
I think one of the greatest individual athlete of all time.
Yeah, you just know the tournament got a little bit more exciting every time you saw Tiger in it.
Every time, dude.
Every time.
I don't know if anyone revolutionized the sport more than he did to golf. Yeah, sad to see, but he'll still show up. He'll still be a Ryder Cup captain. It's not the last time we'll see him, so he'll be around the game for sure.
So, all right, that about wraps up today's podcast. Next Tuesday we will have a bracket. So honestly, you might see us fill out a bracket together, which would be pretty cool. Because that'll be 2 days before the tournament actually starts, and that gives us actually 2 days to go in and actually look at it and dissect it a little bit. So next Tuesday should be a lot of fun. So we will see you then. Have a good one, folks.
Peace. See you guys next Tuesday.